for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Green, could you take roll for us, please?
I can. Mr. Richards.
Here.
Ms. Knox.
Here.
Mr. Middlestat. Mr. Drew.
He is excused.
Mr. Moses.
Here.
Madam President.
I'm here.
And I am here as well.
Great, thank you. Okay, so we have some exciting news to start with. We have reached a contract agreement and we will be hiring our new superintendent, Mr. Philip Jankowski. He's here with us tonight. We were able to secure a contract for him, agreeable to both parties. That's been presented to the board. And so at this point, I will take a formal motion to approve the contract and hiring of Mr. Philip Jankowski for superintendent beginning on July 1st, 2021.
I will make a formal motion to hire Mr. Jankowski as the terms that we agreed upon.
Okay, I will second. So motion by Mr. Moses, seconded by Ms. Knox. Any discussion? All right, we can call the roll, sir.
Mr. Moses.
Yes.
Ms. Knox.
Yes.
Mr. Richards.
Yes.
Ms. Birkmeyer.
Yes.
And Green is yes.
All right, motion passes. Congratulations, sir.
We're not letting you get away with not coming up. Sorry, sir.
We've been fortunate to have Mr. Jankowski has been already in and around our buildings, greeting staff and students. And if you have anything you'd like to add or say, I know that we didn't really prep you for this part, but.
There's a microphone there. Sir, if you want to turn it on, it'll go green for you.
Here, Phil.
No, I'm very appreciative of the board, and it's been great to get around the district so far and meet at some of the buildings and talk to people and be in the community. And my family's excited. My wife, Kelly, daughter, Natalie, son, Jacob, to be a part of the Anchor Bay community. And we look forward to great things over the next few years. And I appreciate the support of the board. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We have a presentation about special education for tonight.
I just referred to you on the slides in the cheat sheet.
Good evening. Frank Cusimano, Special Ed Supervisor, and tonight I am hoping to humbly brag about a few of the innovative and noteworthy programs in our Special Ed department, really just highlighting the creative efforts being made to support our special needs students. I will try to slow down a bit. So get the slides up. Okay.
Next slide, whenever you're ready, sir.
Okay, the first program I want to discuss is Story Champs. Story Champs is a multi-tiered language intervention curriculum, and it is focused mostly pre-K, school age, elementary. But ultimately it promotes oral language development through the act of storytelling. And academic language, research tells us really strengthens and fosters growth in other areas, recalling and sharing information, acquiring word meanings through context, expanding domain knowledge, writing, comprehension. So a program like this was important to bring to our district because not only is it engaging, as you'll see in the later slides, but it's an empowering way to build literacy amongst our language impaired population. The great thing about this program is the instructional levels are for all students of all ability levels. And the amount of texts that come with this program, even non-Story Champ stories can be accommodated so that all stories can be utilized in the process. Next slide, please. Story Champs is a leveled incremental program that adapts as the students progress. So as you can see some of the icons up there, we begin with pictures, gestures, and those icons to really help students with an understanding and how to retell stories. We give them the tools and the means to do so. These icons provide a visual support that help boost vocabulary and linguistic structure. And they can also be faded as students begin to master the concepts, because eventually we rely less on those icons and we challenge students to generate their own personal stories based on what you'll see in the next slide, which are these cue cards, these illustration cards. So these cards with the icons that you can see up there, those provide minimal story details, but the great thing is that it promotes an inferencing and a vocab and a language use from the learners. The cards provide very relatable themed stories, familiar contexts for students, things that kids can relate to. And that's really the platform to teach these very difficult language targets. What's further compelling about Story Champs is really the student engagement piece. And just showing a picture really doesn't do it justice, but the sticks, those cubes, the bingo manipulatives that are up there, those help to promote focus, turn taking, listening skills. This is not an activity where a teacher is just instructing and students are sitting and patiently listening. It is an active process. There are games. All students participate even while one student is maybe reciting or providing their story. So students essentially forget that they're actually learning. It is a game. It is fun. Next slide, please. As far as the district implications, our speech paths right now, our pathologists use Story Champs, mostly with our language impaired populations. Some have begun to incorporate these into our self-contained programs, cognitively impaired, our early childhood special ed, the preschools. Our teacher of the year, Cindy Bowman, actually incorporates this into her classroom because she believes in it so much and she feels that it is very much needed with a language impaired population. And we're actually beginning to pilot this in gen ed classrooms at the elementary level at one particular building. We're going to see if we can expand its reach. A couple other quick things. It's good with virtual students, which we unfortunately learned the hard way this year, but the kits come with digital materials on a flash drive. And we were able to upload a lot of these activities for take-home supplements for parents to use with retelling with students. Before I go on to kind of the next section, are there any questions specifically about Story Champs before I kind of dive into something completely different? I can let those questions simmer a bit, I'm sure, if they need to come up in the next slide, please. Yeah. So we started with elementary. I'm going to kind of progress onto something at the secondary level I think is equally important. We're going to kind of go into language arts. We're going to stay with the kind of ELA theme. As you can see from the pyramid that's provided up there, at our elementary level, the 5 components of reading, from the National Reading Panel, the building blocks, so to say, are kind of listed up there. Your phonemic awareness, your phonemes, phonics instruction, vocab, eventually reaching your comprehension. K2 curriculum really focuses more, kind of bottom of the period. You're focused on those phonemes, the phonics, the vocab. The Lucy Calkins phonics kits that we purchased for the district. This is kind of the prime area. This is the prime concept. We're really kind of hammering those phonemic skills. Once you progress 3rd through 5th grade, there's more of a comprehension focus, narrative, expository text. So for our 5th graders transitioning on to 6th grade, there is a shift in curriculum focus to expository text, being able to read and answer questions. So for scheduling purpose, as we're planning for 6th grade at the middle school level, the logical course offering is the informational reading and writing course that we have. And this is just the ID and manipulation, manipulation of informational text. This is for 6th graders who can read grade level text. So where special ed department comes into play is what do we do with those sixth graders who have comprehension difficulties, who we know will struggle with an informational reading and writing course? What else can we offer those deficient readers? Next slide. In 2014, we sent a group of teachers for a literacy intervention training. And because we love acronyms so much in education, ACRI was the program that we came back with, which stands for the Adolescent Critical Reading Intervention. This program we brought to the district because it is a research-based literacy intervention that increases comprehension skills, specifically with expository text. That's the nonfiction informational text. And it does so by activating critical thinking skills of our students in a few different ways. Number one is through critical questioning and inferential thinking. We're priming students, getting them ready to answer questions. The next way is through discussions of text structure and genre analysis. So one of the things, I know it's kind of concealed up on the slide there, but this is an actual picture taken from one of our classrooms where text is deconstructed and mapped out using these text structures straight from the text that the authors use. Where teachers are basically taking students through the connections. What genre is this? Is this argumentative? Is this compare contrast? What language is used? Completely deconstructing the process so students can follow along. This is a small group discourse. These classes have a max of 10 students. They're more individualized. There's more time to ask questions, hear analysis, ask teachers and students how they modeled their thought process, how they came to the conclusions that they did. Finally, and probably most importantly, this program relies on reflective, responsive, and trained teachers who know not only the research texts with ACRI, but know their students as readers and learners. This is not a scripted program. This is not a printed curriculum. It's not a one-size-fits-all program. This relies on trained instructors who make judgment calls about how to scaffold for students based on their individual needs. Next slide. So why is this approach successful? Well, daily literacy intervention, there's a continuity. Students are constantly going through this process with all the different texts. As I said, there's a small group. There's a greater teacher to student ratio. There's more individualized support. When you have 10 or less students, you have more leeway with instructional pacing, much more student participation. You have less students sitting, waiting to participate, listening, and much more active engagement. Teachers match reading proficiency with these ACRI texts, so you have flexibility in that regard. There's always gauging of progress, routine assessments. So you're always determining what levels are student at and how you can progress. There's ongoing professional development for our educators, regular best practices, coaching, learning labs, training cohorts. Teachers are always up to date with the contemporary research. And most importantly, there's the rapport building with this teacher. It is a relaxing environment which is more conducive to learning. Casual, laid-back discussions about the text. These are meant to guide students through the process and really empower them and build confidence. This is what we see leads to the independence with comprehension. Next slide, please. Also, and arguably most importantly, one of the reasons our special ed ACRI section is so successful is because of the instructors who excel at leading it. And I've just included them, Lisa Kilbas, Jamie Petron, Linda Schwartz, our special ed staff members. Next slide, please. So to recap this portion, our transitioning sixth graders have the following course options. Okay, so leaving fifth grade, we know we can go for informational reading and writing. For our students who can read grade level text, they can comprehend at that level. We also have our ACRI courses now that we implemented. We have a general ed section, which is only a semester long. We can have slightly more students. The special ed section is stretched out over 2 semesters. More time to focus on the work, slightly less population size, more individualized attention. So now we have 2 options for our incoming fifth graders. But again, what do you do for the student who's not ready for comprehension? As you remember from the period, what if you're not quite toward the top of the pyramid? What if you're not ready for comprehension? Some of our learners with dyslexia, a specific type of learning disability, they struggle with phonemic awareness and phonics instruction. They don't have those building blocks for comprehension. So what options do we have? Enter Lisa Kielbas, who you may remember from one of the earlier slides. Lisa is a special ed instructor in our district who's personally trained in Orton Gillingham instruction. This is an approach that breaks reading and spelling down into smaller skills involving letters and sounds. And it's also an approach recognized by the Dyslexia Institute. Lisa approached the district in 2018 with a course concept to target these severe deficient readers. Next slide, please. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? Head back, if you would, Tim. Thank you. That Orton Gillingham chart on the right there, I'd like to speak about that real quick. What makes Orton Gillingham so special is that it uses a visual, auditory, and a kinesthetic approach to teaching, reinforcing, and developing instruction that looks to change neural pathways in the brain. So a multi-sensory approach. Tapping out syllables on your arm, color-coded tangibles to manipulate memory mnemonics, the use of sand, sandpaper, shaving cream, many things to engage different components of the brain. This is a systematic program. It's sequential, it's incremental. I mean, it's just that concepts are taught in a step-by-step sequence, and they always build upon each other in the previous lesson. So students might start out identifying letters of consonants and vowel sounds, blends, digraphs, up through multisyllabic words over time. It's a cumulative program. It's repetitive. You review previous concepts while you explore new concepts. It's individualized. Its instructional pace is really increased or decreased depending upon each need of the student. It's explicit. It's taught in a very clear, concise, straightforward manner that students understand. And as a personal note, dyslexia is a neurological disorder. So this instructional effort really attempts to rewire components of the brain so that students can fluently and automatically decode and encode. So next slide, please. So the classroom dynamics that contribute to this program's success, it's tailored to our 6th grade IEP students with the basic reading skill deficits that I described, decoding and encoding. Classroom size stays at approximately 10. Just like ACRI, it allows for more individualization, more flexibility, more student engagement. It's a 2-semester or year-long program, and this can be offered in place of an informational reading writing or ACRI. Next slide, please. So ultimately, just like ACRI, there is a tracking and monitoring of progress, and it's a fluid program. We adjust the instruction according to student needs. So the goal of ACRI, the goal of this Orton Gillingham Foundations that I described is just to offer scaffolded instruction that adjusts to the needs of the learner, not having the learner assimilate to us, but us amending to them, which is really the basis of our instruction in special ed. So that is all I have for today. I'm sure you've been taking copious notes and are ready to ask questions, and I'm ready to answer them.
Mr. Kuzma, we had stepped up our efforts in our general education realm for this summer to try to catch up our students that may have fallen behind because of virtual, because of and this is kind of off the subject, but what are we doing this summer with our special education students, and are you seeing an enrollment over last summer of parents who are sharing the concern that the board has?
Yes, first and foremost, we started by identifying our most severe needs populations, cognitively impaired early childhood preschool populations. These are the students that really did not have the same opportunities with virtual learning as maybe some of our other students. I mean, it's not ideal for any population, but we really felt that these were the students to target first and foremost. The district decided that we had enough opportunities to provide for both gen ed and special ed with some of our enrichment courses that we feel confident that our IEP students, their needs will be met in the summer programs if they choose to enroll. I've seen some nice numbers for registration thus far, and we continue to see more. There are some parents that missed out on the registration opportunities, but we are following up and we're reaching out, especially some of our more severe needs populations. Our teachers have been very good about reaching out to parents who maybe didn't check emails or heard about it but have forgotten. So we're long past the registration point and we're still adding students on. So yes, I think we're seeing a very nice turnout.
Thanks.
I do have a question,
Sure.
not necessarily presentation related.
I had seen a vacancy posted for a psychologist. Can you tell me where we are with this vacancy and how is the need being filled currently? And is this still an open position?
Yes, this is an open position. I presume we're going to be looking at applicants. I have not been aware of any applicants that have applied thus far. But yes, our hope is to, as soon as possible, make a hire.
Do you know how the need is currently being filled?
Yes, we have some very capable psychologists in the district. I'm still certified as a school psychologist. And the three of us have been working diligently with building principals and special ed team to meet needs as they arise. Certainly wasn't our preference to be down the one staff member, but I think like most of us, we've taken on the challenge and we've just done what we could in the meantime.
Do you have any concerns? Obviously, among the district personnel who have elected to retire, there are some special education personnel. In addition, there may be other personnel in the special education staff that elect to leave the district at the end of the year. As we know, there's a critical shortage of special education personnel across the country. Is there specific steps that we are taking, and are you working with Mr. Rathbun and Ms. Gonzalez to fill these positions?
Absolutely. We've had several meetings already where we've gone over and discussed what those needs are. We look at caseload student needs, we look at building needs. We've already posted, I believe, for a social work position. It was one of several that had to be replaced. Some of the teacher assignments have resulted in domino effects where certain positions have filled and left vacancies in others. So it is definitely an ongoing fluid process, but absolutely, I have every confidence that positions are being posted and considerations are being made to fill those positions and get quality candidates as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate your presentation. Our next item on the agenda is a certificate acknowledging school nutrition. I'm going to let Mr. Rathbun do this one.
Thank you. Good evening, board. This evening, I come before you to share some information about one of our employees. Pretty exciting. The Michigan Department of Education, working collaboratively with the School Nutrition Association of Michigan, is awarding a certificate of appreciation to Kathy Papias. Kathy works in our high school cafeteria as the head cook. And she's actually been here for 30 years, but they're recognizing her for a milestone of 25 years of service in preparing healthy and nutritious meals for our students here at Anchor Bay. Unfortunately, Kathy is not able to be here with us tonight, but I was able to meet with Kathy earlier and we presented her with the certificate of appreciation. I think she was surprised and really touched by the sentiment. And I can tell you, I had the pleasure of working with Kathy last summer when we were doing meals on Wednesday. I would head into the high school for a couple hours and help Kathy package up all the meals that we were sending out to a number of folks over the summer. And she's very good at her job, very organized. She had a lot of us rookies in there that had no idea what we're doing, and she got us to work real quick. And we were packaging up thousands of meals every day. So I've had the chance to work firsthand with Kathy and I'm very impressed with her. I will share this as well. Kathy lost her husband earlier this year and did not miss a day of work. That's how dedicated she is to Anchor Bay. And I was very proud to be able to give her the certificate of appreciation. So Kathy, if you're watching, thank you very much. We really appreciate you. Thanks for all your service to Anchor Bay.
Wonderful. We have one other employee recognition. As we've mentioned in other meetings, as we end our school year, we have many employees retiring this year, particularly with the buyout that was offered. But particularly, we wanted to honor one particular employee who has been here for 50 years. So Mr. Wedge is going to take this one.
Yeah, good evening. Tonight we celebrate and recognize Ann Berglund for her 50 years of service to Anchor Bay School District. Ann has been with the school district since 1971, where she began her teaching career as a 6th grade teacher. At the time Ann was hired, there were only 2 elementary buildings. They were Naldrit and Anchor Bay Elementary, which is now Ashley Elementary. We had 1 junior high, which is now Lighthouse Elementary, and 1 high school, which is actually this building, Middle School North. Ann is taught at the junior high, Lighthouse, Lottie Elementary, Anchor Bay Elementary, Ashley, and McCons Elementary for a combined total of 30 years. I know we all strive to even get to 30 years, and she topped us all by all these extra years. So she later was appointed to be the principal at Lottie Elementary 20 years ago. Lottie has been Ann's pride and joy, where she watches over all her staff and students. If you know Ann at all, she is very generous and protective of those around her, which she would tell you stems from the Sicilian blood that runs through her veins. And Ann has held several positions in the district over the years. She's been a teacher, a parent, and administrator. She is extremely dedicated to Anchor Bay and has always had a strong determination to preserve our standard and excellence. We appreciate the years of service Ann has provided to our district. She will definitely be missed when we return in the fall. And thank you, Ann, for all you've done for us, and we'd like you to come up and be recognized.
Okay.
So Ann,
Mr. Rathbone, if you could do that on camera, that'd be great. I don't let anybody escape without getting on the camera, so even after 50 years.
okay. So Ann, on behalf of the Board of Education and on behalf of Anchor Bay School District, we're proud to present you with this plaque of 50 years of service presented to Ann Berglund in appreciation for 50 years of dedicated service. You make a difference. So congratulations, Ann. Thank you very much. We appreciate you.
I do have to say something, and you know I do. But just to let you know, I have had a wonderful career. I don't think a lot of people can say that their entire career that they've totally enjoyed. I totally enjoyed teaching for almost 30 years, but I got tired of checking papers, doing report cards. I really did. But then I had the opportunity to become the principal, and I've loved every minute of it. So I do want to see my grandchildren, though. That's what's important. So I appreciate this, but I've had a blast for 50 years.
Congratulations, and thank you for your many years of service with Anchor Bay. We definitely will miss you and appreciate.
Lisa, can I just remind everybody that we have the honk out for Ann at Lottie tomorrow at 4 o'clock?
Yes, what Mr. Wedge said, tomorrow at 4 o'clock at Lottie Elementary, there is a honk out car parade to participate in if you would like to join and say congratulations and goodbye, but not for forever to Ann Berglund. Okay. All right, at this point, we'll go into open forum, and I don't have any submissions for in-house. Are there any virtual submissions?
Let's see if Crystal is on there. She did send something. I don't see her. I know Pam Percha wanted to speak. I don't see Crystal on there.
Okay, so we'll go to Ms. Pam Percha.
Good evening. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. Good evening. My name is Pam Percha, and I'm president of the Anchor Bay Para Association. Tonight, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate Ashley Elementary's media para, Anne Marie Blazejewski, and Middle School South CI classroom para, Carrie Shindick, with their retirement from Anchor Bay this month. I would also like to congratulate the teachers and administrators who announced their retirement, along with Colleen Bramos, a security guard at the Anchor Bay High School. I wish you all the very best. I also had the privilege to meet our new superintendent this week, Mr. Jankowski. On behalf of the members, we would like to congratulate Mr. Jankowski on his new superintendent role, and we look forward to meeting with him in the future. Thank you all for your time tonight. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Oh, there's Crystal.
We have Miss Crystal Ortega.
One more time.
Okay, I think I'm unmuted. Am I?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I hit it and then it went away. Okay, so good evening. As of course, we're celebrating recognitions, retirements, and all of that fun stuff. So congratulations for all of that. Also, congratulations to obviously our graduating seniors this year. I know a couple of the board members have seniors who graduated this past weekend. But I also just want to encourage the school board to attend this next weekend's graduation. I know many of you were there this past weekend, so I hope that, you know, you guys will be there for this last one for the class of 2021. So that was my only comments, and we really do appreciate your support for them and obviously the support for the entire district. So thank you all for that and have a good night.
Thank you. Any others?
That's it.
All right. That is it for tonight. I will take a motion to adjourn.
I will make that motion.
And
I will.
second.
Go ahead.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Moses, seconded by Ms. Knox. We're actually all here in person. All in favor?
Actually, I have a comment for you to close the meeting. I want to congratulate our girls TAR soccer team. They're advancing in the regionals, and tomorrow they play at Troy Athens, not Adams, that's in Rochester, Athens. And there is a motivational send-off that's going on at the high school. So after you attend Ann Berglund's traffic jam that she's going to cause over a lot of you, with everybody coming to say goodbye to her, please head over to the high school around 4:40. They're going to be lining up near the Anchor. Bring your horns, bring your bells, bring your whistles, bring your whatever you're going to bring out, because our girls will be heading out to play in their regional game. I believe actually our soccer, not our soccer team, we're talking about our women's softball is advancing as well. Unfortunately, I don't have those notes in front of me, but congratulations to them. Does anyone know when they play next?
Saturday.
Is it Saturday? Where is the game at? Is it at home?
I believe it's
So I don't have my notes in front of me. Make sure, if you're at home, that you guys are following the Anchor Bay Sports on Twitter. They're updating as quickly as they can, so you can make all those events this weekend. That certainly is exciting as well. So now.
Well, hold on. Any other comments?
How's that?
We all right. All in favor of adjournment? Aye.
Aye.
All right. Meeting is adjourned at 7:37.